Hi everyone, this evening I am back playing Great Battles of the American Revolution. This is Brandywine, one of the games that make up um, the tri-pack, and it's a 12 turn scenario. I've done the first 2 turns, and I thought as I play in the game I would do my regular sort of after action report. Probably as it's 12 turns, probably every other turn, something like that, to give everyone, depends what happens, to give everyone sort of the narrative that's taking part in this game that I'm playing. I'm playing the game solo. The way I'm playing the game this evening is that the British and the Hessians have to basically take an objective on this road that travels this side of the map, and the same with the road that takes the actual objectives are actually just off camera. As they get closer, I move the camera about. Plus, they also have to attempt to take Birmingham Meeting House, which again is just off camera. It's just sort of this way, and they have to, which they will do naturally by over. They have to take that hex just there. At the end of turn 12, at the end, they need to have a counter. I think the actual rules say in either of those two locations that I've just described. They have to battle the way across the Brandywine Creek. It is quite challenging. The last time I played this, which was a little while ago, they took such a hammering trying to get across the creek that by the time they got across, they couldn't really make any progress. In the first 2 turns, though, just due to some lucky die rolls on the British part, they've already managed to push some of the and we'll call them, I'm going to call them the Americans, the Patriots, Continental Army, etc. And they pushed them out of these hexes here, or started to anyway, so making some good progress already. And then for the American forces, they I'll double check the writing in the rules, but they basically got to inflict casualties on the British and stop them. Just stop them. And like I said, the last time I played, the Americans gave the British and the Hessians a right good scene to, as we would say here in the UK. Basically, good thrashing. So we'll see how that game plays out. But 12 turns. It's I'll probably play this over a couple of evenings. It's actually, I thought Saratoga had more counters, but now I've come back to this, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a lot more counters than Saratoga has. And there are a lot of reinforcements to come on. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. We've just done turn number 4, and the British have made their way over the Brandywine at this area just here, but are royally getting held up over here. The Americans have got good defensive positions here. We British have caused a few disorders, so the morale of the two armies, the American morale has taken a dip, only just though. So in the next couple of turns, there's a few reinforcements looking at the counters, mostly for the Americans. So the British have got to make good over here, secure this area, and start moving their way up. And over here, they've yet to cross the Brandywine. Finished turn number 6, and the Redcoats and the British have been able to make some progress in this area of the map. They've got some of their units across the Brandywine. On this side, things are definitely slower, and they have, some of the Hessians, some of the Germans have been able to make it over the Brandywine Creek. The resistance put up from the Patriots has been fierce, and they've knocked some of them back over this side, but this side they have managed to get over the creek and have inflicted some disorder on some units over there. In terms of the army morale, the British morale is much higher at the minute than the American Patriots morale, but they have a long way to go. We are halfway through the game, and they've been able to get up to the Brandywine and get over the Brandywine, but they've got a long way, and especially on this side, there's a lot of defenders. And the same is also true here. The Americans have been able to sort themselves out, get themselves into position. So yeah, quite a lot for them to do. Just completed turn 7, number 8. The British, no, not making the progress they need to make here. They're being pushed back. Tides have turned against them. This side, the Patriots are really pushing the British back and the Hessians back. They're just not making anything like the progress they need to make up this road. It is a very, very bloody series of encounters here, with counters being forced into retreat and disordered, etc. Very fierce fighting. And then at the top of the map, so you can't see, but next turn I'll show, we've started to get some Patriots into some defensive positions at the top, ready for the impending amount of carnage as the British reinforcements and Hessian reinforcements that start entering the board. There are 4 turns left. Both these sides, at least one of them, needs to make significant progress quite quickly. Like I said, there are copious amounts of British reinforcements entering, but the Patriots are getting into defensive positions, ready to meet them. Just completed turns 9 and 10. 2 more turns left of the battle. As you can see here, British made some headway, not enough, not anywhere near enough to make up this road towards this objective over here. And as for this side of the battlefield, it's been very, very bloody. Lots of fierce fighting between the two sides. Every time the British made a bit of headway, then they got pushed back. Just weren't able to push through the Americans on that side of the battle. Then I pulled the camera out a little bit so you can see the reinforcements. They've been able to take Birmingham meeting here, and they are making their way towards Battle Hill. However, there are quite a few oppositions, forces that have moved into position. With only 2 turns left, it's very unlikely that they'll make good on moving past, being able to engage and move past, and then let alone move to the objective area over there. But there are 2 more turns, so what I'll do is I'll play the 2 turns and just see how close the British could get to their objectives. They may not really get any closer, to be honest with you. We'll just see how that pans out and see what we can learn from it. So I'm going to call the game there. The British were just starting to push through in this area, and in this area in fairness as well. They were just starting to get momentum, push the enemy back. The Americans bravely, and resistance was high, just were not giving up ground. No quarters were given. This part of the battlefield, as you can see, swamped with British, but not moving quick enough to make good on the objectives. Checking the rule book, looking at the number of casualties, I think technically the British probably won on casualties and captured units alone. But in my mind, playing the game, I don't feel they did really. They inflicted a lot of casualties, so yeah, okay. But regardless, I will play these games solo for the narrative, for the learning on my part, to learn how to play the games better or more effectively, or try out different techniques and different tactics. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's part of the fun of playing war games for me. And for that, the battle was great. There was lots of drama. You have these 3 kind of good, at the beginning, certainly at the beginning, these 2 good areas trying to get over the Brandywine Creek. It is a period of history that I love learning about. I love the game system. For anyone who watches my channel will know that. I thoroughly enjoyed my couple of evenings playing through this game. It was a close fought thing. I think at some points it could have gone either way, and it had lots of dramatic moments as well. Especially for me, the fun in the game is getting across the Brandywine and working the way up these 2 roads that sort of run parallel with each other, and just facing the opposition and trying to work out tactics and techniques just to break through for the British, and then for the American side, just pushing them back, hold them up, which is what they did on this game. They were able to stop the British making the headway that they needed to get their units off either of those two objective marks there. So yeah, a lot of fun. Very enjoyable couple of evenings playing this game in the series. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you've played this game and can offer any advice, then I'm all ears. This of all the games in the tri-pack, this is the one I've played the least. This is probably my third or fourth playthrough, I think. I think one playthrough I just did the first few turns, just a smaller scenario that's all created myself, just crossing the Brandywine, which is also a lot of fun. So yeah, good stuff. Very enjoyable. Thank you for watching as ever. Thank you.